Hi, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to change a light fixture. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to need some tools to get the job done. So let me just demonstrate what you're going to need and then how we're going to get started. You have a voltmeter such as this, so you can check the actual voltage to make sure that you're not going to wind up getting a shock. Or you can buy just a cheap tool like this, and it does the exact same thing. It just lights up in here, just like a light bulb. You're going to need a pair of pliers to strip the wires down, and these are different size wires right through here, so you can strip the wires without damaging the wire itself. And you're probably going to need a screwdriver or something like that to remove the old fixture up on the light fixture itself. All right, now this light fixture we picked up at the local store. Not that I'm saying that this is the light fixture that you're going to be installing, but this is just a demonstration of what type of a light fixture we're going to do. One thing I would never do is you never want to put a light fixture or even try using a light fixture that's been opened up and used in somebody else's house before. Make sure that the box is taped and not opened up, because the worst thing you can do is get it home, go to put it up and find out that something is broken or pieces are missing. So always check it before you do anything, just to make sure that all your pieces are here. As you can see, my dogs are actually intently watching what I'm doing here. Okay, now this is your directions of how to install the light fixture, but I'm going to bring you through the whole process right now, so you really you can read through it, but this is a pretty good demonstration of how to do it. You want to make sure that everything is inside the box before you actually start doing the job. These are the actual crystals. We're not going to look at these right now because there's a whole box of them. To give you an idea of all the different pieces inside here. That's basically what they look like. So we're just going to put these off to the side right now. They will go on later on once the light fixture is installed. We're just going to open up everything, make sure nothing is damaged or broken before we take the old fixture down. What I normally do is just take everything out and lay it down on the floor so you know exactly what you're using. So now that we have everything all laid out, this wire is very long, but the reason that this wire is long is depending on what type of an application you're doing. You'll have different extensions for different lengths. These are all the different lengths, because once you put this piece here up onto the ceiling, you're going to have something like this screws into the bottom of it, and if you want to have the light fixture hanging down lower, you would actually use these extensions to actually bring it down. This would actually screw onto here, and you would then take this wire and feed it through this tube and come out this end over here so that we can actually mount it at whatever height we want it to. First thing we're going to do though is we're going to go up and we're going to take the light fixture down that's up on top here. And now before we do anything, we want to make sure that the power is turned off in the light fixture. And a very simple way to make sure it's turned off is turn it on. And then we're going to go to the circuit breakers and we're going to click the circuit breaker off until this light turns off. That way you're not going to get a shock when you're working on it. So I'm going to go and flip the circuit breakers and they'll come right back. Okay, so now we know that the power is turned off in the fixture itself so that you're not going to get a shock. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take down the old fixture and then we're going to put the new fixture back in place. We're just unscrewing these little pieces right here. I loosened it, I'm not taking it out yet. I'll loosen this one as well. And now, as you can see, this is the wiring. We have the powers turned off already, so we're just going to unscrew this little wire nut right here. And we'll take off that wire. And then we'll take this one off. Just unscrew the cap off of it. Remember to unscrew it as counterclockwise to screw it back on as clockwise. And then we'll pull this off. And that fixture is now off. And these are our two main wires that we're going to be using to put this fixture back, the new fixture back up. All right, now our new fixture looks like it probably has a ground wire in it as well. But as you can see, this one here only had the two, so we're going to ground it actually through right here. So, all right, let me get a screwdriver. We're going to take out these two screws right here, and then we'll come right back. Okay, this is the replacement pieces that we're going to be putting back up there. As you can see, this one is a little bit different than the one that's up there right now. So we're going to take the one that's up there, we're going to remove it, and we're going to put the new screws that they provided with it through here, and we'll bolt this back up to the existing box in the house. This one is the ground screw. It's very important that you reattach to ground because that'll actually save anybody from getting a shock if there's a short at all. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to come up here. We're just going to pull these wires to the side like that. We're going to take out this screw and this screw, and we're going to remove this one right here, and we're going to take that ground wire off of here. So let me just do that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen up this ground wire right here. You don't have to take it totally off. You just loosen it. I'm going to put these off to the side. And we'll take this. Just like that. Now that's our ground wire. Now we're going to remove these Phillips head screws here that hold this piece up inside the ceiling right here. And we are probably going to use these over again because these screws are different than the ones that actually belong in there. But we'll see how that goes. These are, as you can see, this is somebody put a drywall screw in there, which tells me that this could be stripped out right up inside here. But we're going to give it a try, and we're going to see if we can use the ones that came with the new unit. Okay, now we're going to put this back up here, just like this. We're going to try to use our screws that were provided with it, and we'll see how it goes. Now we're going to be careful screwing this down all the way because I don't know if that box is damaged at all. So we're going to screw these in until they're fairly close. Okay, as you can see, sometimes you'll find the wrong screw inside there. In this case here, somebody put a drywall screw in there to hold the light fixture in. They must have lost the other screws that came out of it, so don't always assume that what the person did ahead of you is correct. So we're going to take these and we're going to trash them. Just taking off our lock right here, and then we're going to reconnect our ground back onto here. And as you can see, it's just a regular flat screwdriver that you're using. You put your ground wire back on, and then we're just going to crimp it a little bit closed, just so it's pretty tight. Now we're going to snug our ground wire. Okay, so now our ground wire is connected back onto the unit itself. And let me get the cover and we'll put this back together. Okay, so now after we have these screws tight right here and we have our ground wire reconnected here, we are going to take these wires and we're going to take this ground and we're going to be using this one in just a minute. So for right now, we're just going to bring it off over here, and we're going to leave these right here. And now, when we go down to the floor, I'm going to show you what the fixture itself looks like. I did take this ring off right here that was screwed on right there. So let's go down on the floor and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay. Now this one here, you have different lengths of rod that you can use to make the fixture as high or as shallow as you want. They have different size rods here, a 12-inch, and then they have other ones that are actually 6-inch, where you can actually just make it six inches in length, but it's personal preference. In this particular case, we are going to put this light up, but we're going to make it as shallow as possible. So what we're doing now is we have the actual piece that actually connects the light fixture to the piece in the ceiling, and this is what screws up into the fixture itself up top. So what we're going to do now is we're going unscrew this piece out right here. This is what these extensions would normally screw onto, like that, but we are not going to use them. So we're going to take this out. We're going to unscrew this right here, like this. Take this out like that. And now this piece will screw right on here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the wires. We're going to just open it up now. And we're just going to open them up. Now obviously, you know, these wires are very long. We're not going to be using these wires as well. But I just want to point this out to you before we go any further. This is our ground wire. These are our leads. For one is the neutral and one is the load. And as you can see, it has the L and the N. So this one is the neutral and this one is the load. Well, this one will be the black and this one will be the white. So this piece, we're going to take this off right now. I want to show you something. Now you can see, if you try to put this through here and these come off by accident, you're gonna look at these wires and say they look exactly the same. How can I possibly tell which one is which? If you look very closely, you'll see right here, there's writing on here. And that's our load, or that would be the black wire. So that's the power coming into the unit, and this is the power going back to neutral. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this. We're just going to pull these wires like this. We're going to take this piece here that we have, and we're going to feed these wires right through it. Like I said, we are going to cut these shorter, but for now, that's my cat seeing what's going on here. All right, so this piece here has to screw on like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed these wires through just like this. And we'll bring this down. Now if you are putting an extension on, you do the exact same thing. You feed the wires through the extension. And then what we're going to do is we're going to screw this piece here right onto this fixture here, just like that. Because we want to have this fixture as short as possible. Okay, just like that. And now these wires, we're going to cut these to length once we get up top. But what we're going to do now, let's go back up to the top and I'll explain to you what we're going to do up there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take this link off right here because like I said, we want this as shallow as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a pair of pliers like this and another pair of pliers like this. We're just going to hold it like that and you twist it just to the side, just a little bit. Like that, and then you can take it off. Like that. We're going to take this and put this off to the side for now. Okay. Now this is our plate that's going to go up on the top right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to feed these wires right here through the plate like this. Okay. And now we're going to take our link that we actually put it together with. We're going to just, for demonstration, I'm going to put this up here just to see if the height is going to be the correct height. We're going to hook it on here like this. And then we're going to take this light. I just want to check the height of it, like I said. And we'll hook it on there just like this. And that is the height that we want because we actually have those crystals that hang down about 5 inches. So that's why we wanted to get it as shallow as possible here. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to come up underneath here, we're going to cut these wires so that we can accommodate the wiring up into this box right here. So let me bring this down onto the floor. I would normally cut it up here, but I'm going to bring it to the floor and I'm going to cut it so that way you can see how to splice it. So for now, I'm just going to take this back off like this, and we'll bring it down to the floor. Okay, now we're going to take the wires. We are going to leave a little bit of excess wiring in there. It's better to have a little bit of extra wire than a little bit too short. So now what we're going to do is take a pair of cutting pliers like this, and this is only a demonstration. There's multiple kinds of cutting pliers out there, and you just take it and you put it on here and you just cut it right through, just like that. And you cut the wires off. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in up underneath here, and we're going to separate these wires right here. Remember, the one with the writing on it is the one that was the load or the black wire, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. Okay, so now we're going to cut these wires right down the center like this, just to separate the two. Remember, one is the load, and the other is the neutral or the return. And we're going to strip these wires down just to expose. Remember how these ends work here? About that length? That's how much we're going to actually expose on these wires here. So we take these pliers here, and there's different. On the pliers themselves, you'll see it'll say 12 gauge, 14 gauge, 16 gauge. So we're going to do it here like this. And you rotate the pliers around just like that. It cuts through the wire, and then you can pull it right off. Again, put it on here like this. You push it, rotate it around, cuts through the insulation, and then we just pull the insulation off like that. Then you would take the wire, just grab it with your finger, and you twist it like this. Okay, do the exact same thing over here. Okay, and this ground wire, we don't have to do anything with that because it's already a braided wire. So now let's go back up, and we're going to feed the wires up through the top here, and then we'll use our wire nuts that actually come with the new unit. It gives you 3 wire nuts. One is for the load, one is for the neutral, and the other is for the ground. Okay. Before we go back up top, I just want to demonstrate one more time how to strip the wire off properly. You're going to take, whether you use a razor knife or you use a regular scissor or whatever, you're going to just separate this wire right in here because you can see that they're stuck together and you can't join them together. So we just take a knife like this and just cut it very slightly, just like that. You don't have to go far, just in like that. And once you have it separated like that, you just take the wires and peel them apart, just like this. You could peel it further apart if you'd like to, it doesn't really matter. And remember what I said about the wire, that's the load wire, it has the writing on it. It actually tells you on the wire, well, I can't read it, but it's something to do with the, how many amps. I think it's like, all right, basically it tells you what the actual, the wire is. Like this wire is capable of 300 volts, so it says here, but you know, that's neither here nor there. This is just to show you which one is the load and which one is the neutral. All right, now we're going to take these pliers here, and these actually have little jaws on here like they cut through a wire, but as you can see, it doesn't damage the wire itself. The wire portion inside stays intact. So always use the one that fits the closest to the wire. Like this one here is probably going to be a 14 gauge, but we're going to try it first with the 12 gauge, and I'll show you how that works. That's the 12 gauge. We're going to go on here like this, just squeeze it and turn it around like that. Now if you use one that's doesn't cut the wire far enough, the worst thing that's going to happen is you see how you had to pull it a little bit and then it popped off. But as you can see, there's no wiring in here whatsoever. All of these wires stayed intact. Nothing was damaged. You don't want to cut these wires and lose half of them by cutting it through with one that's too small. Right? So you always want to use one that's either a little bit bigger or the correct size. So we're just going to do it like this again. Squeeze it, and then turn this, rotate it around, and what that does, it cuts into the insulation, and you pull it, and it pops right off, just like that. And no wires are here, all the wires are on there, which is very important. Now this is trash, but I just wanted to show you again how to do it. All right, so we're going to put this to the side now. Now this piece here we're going to put up in the top, but we're going to take this back off like this. Okay, so now we have this off, and we need to put this lock nut on there. So we're going to take this nut, and we're going to put it over these wires first, and we're going to drop it down like that. And then we're going to put this back through here again, just like this, like that. Okay, and now we're going to go back up top. We're going to reconnect our wiring up at the top. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to take these wires here, and we need to feed them through this place, this spot right up in here. The wires need to go up and through that box. I'm going to take this off for 1 second here. Now these wires we're going to feed through here so that they come out through the top right up in there. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to tie these together a little bit right here. We will separate that in just a minute, like this. And then we'll pull that wire back down. Feed this up, like that. And now we're going to feed this wire as well through there. Okay, so now after we fed all 3 wires through there, we're just going to pull them up, just like this. Okay, so now, well, let me just do this real quick here. With untwirl those wires that we wrap together, like that. And now we know that the one with the writing on it is the one that was the power lead. Okay, now, the one with the writing on it was the one that was the load. So we're just going to make sure that these wires are twisted correctly here, like that. And we're going to connect this one to the black wire. The black wire is the one that's bringing power in. And as you can see, this is the black one right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire here, we're going to take it and put it on here like this, and we're just going to twist it clockwise around just like that, so it looks like this. And then we're going to screw our wire nut over the top, like that. Alright, and now our wire nut is holding the wires together right now. We're just going to pull this down so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. Okay, now we're going to take our neutral, which is this wire right here. This is our white one, and the white is our neutral. And if you're not sure which one is neutral and which one is, it's always black and white. Black is your hot wire, and white is your neutral. So we twist them clockwise, and then we take the nut, the wire nut, put it over the top. You hold the wires in your left hand, and you turn the wire nut on all the way, like that, so it's nice and tight. And then the last thing we're going to do is we have our ground wires already connected up to this bracket that came with it. We are also going to connect our ground wire to the other end right here. Now you can connect it up to this end, or you could just connect it up underneath there. I'm going to actually have it this way here, like this. I'm going to screw that down tight as well. Remember, it's always clockwise to tighten it, counterclockwise to take it off. And that's it, our wires are all connected. What we're going to do now is we're going to take these wires and we're going to push them up inside the box, and we're going to feed these wires through there. So let's do that. Like that. And then we're going to feed these wires up through here, like that. We're going to put this over the top like this. Screw our lock. Like that. And now these wires, you can just push them right up inside there. You see how they go up? So now we're all reconnected up. Last thing we're going to do now is we're going to take our lock clip, put it on here like this, lift this up like that, hook it on, and now we're going to feed our wires through here, like that. Hang on one second, my arms. Okay, now, I just want to point this out to you, and this is personal preference. I always try to take these wires and hide them the best you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the wires, hopefully you can see that, and we're going to take these wires and we're going to put them inside the link, just like that. So that way they're hidden more, so that way nobody will see them. And then I'm going to tilt this so you can see. And then we're going to take the lock, unscrew this, so that these pieces here now lock together. Like that. And now you can see the wires are hidden up in here. You really can't see the wires, and they go right up into the ceiling here. And the only one you're going to see is the copper-colored wire, because obviously it's copper-colored, and everything else is black. But that's how it goes, like that. And now we're going to hang our crystals around here. So let me just now I just want to point this out to you. Let me get one to bring it up. If you needed different length rods, you would actually install them and you could bring the light down. If it was over a table or over an area that you needed the light lower, you would install these rods and it would bring the light fixture down lower. But as you can see, this is in an entryway, so we need the light to be up as high as possible, especially when the crystals are going to hang down to here. So let me get a light bulb, and we're going to hang a couple of crystals. Let me get the crystals, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so these are the crystals that we're going to hang, and these are the pieces that we're going to hang through the little hole up in the top there. Now the crystal part here goes to the outside, and this part here goes to the inside. But you can see that inside the directions. One is flat and the other is tapered. The reason that it's tapered like that is to disperse the light more efficiently. And we just take them and you hook them through the little hole like that. And what I always do is bend that piece just a little bit. So I'm not going to bore you with hanging these all on there, but this is basically what you're doing. You hang them through and you bend that tab just a little bit. So let me hang all the rest of them in here, and then we'll come right back. Light bulb back in there, whatever kind of bulb you choose to put in. Okay, now if we did our job correctly, we should go turn that light switch on inside, and that should turn on. So let's go turn the switch on, and you watch what's going on here. All right, so that's it. As you can see, the light fixture works okay. If it doesn't work, you want to make sure you turn your power supply off outside, turn your power breaker back off, take the unit down itself, and check your wiring, because you probably put one of the wire nuts on incorrectly, but that's pretty much it. All right, so if you follow my directions, you shouldn't have a problem. The main thing is, before you start anything, make sure your power supply is off, because the shock is not going to kill you, but it'll definitely wake you right up. So definitely make sure your power supply is off. Have your tools and everything handy so you can get started on it. And that's it. That's our finished product. And as you can see, we needed that height by the entry door, because anybody who's tall is going to wind up having a duck under it. So that's it. We're all set. All right. As always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.